Hey guys, how are you? Welcome to the Generation X-Wing podcast, a modern look at a retro lifestyle. My name is Rob Williams, and I'm here. Let's try that again. Welcome to the Generation X-Wing podcast, a modern look at a retro lifestyle. My name is Rob Williams, and I'm here with
Jamie Pale Rider,
as well as
Steve Hose Nose Lewis.
and safe and sound. We're so glad he's here. It is
Steve 3 on the other side of the country.
Oh, Steve 3. I gotta be honest. When I've been live streaming, people have been asking, "Is Steve okay? Is Steve all right? How is Steve doing?" So, Steve,
I am good. And thanks to everyone that has reached out and inquired. It's been tough. There's been a lot of people reaching out, which I'm super pumped and appreciative for. But it's hard to get back to everyone when you're, staring at the fire watch and figuring out what you're gonna do. It's been a tough week. I'm not gonna lie. But everything got under control enough for me. We had to come away and do some work trip that I had to do. So now I'm in Portland, Maine, on the other side of the country, covered in snow. And I don't know what day of the week it is or what. I can't believe we're at the end of January. But thanks to everyone, and thanks to you guys for what you said last week and for giving all the information about how to contribute to matters that are important. And I think we'll just keep doing that. For a long time. There's going to be a lot of rebuilding, so heart goes out to everyone that's lost everything, and just glad we could be there for the people that needed it, and grateful for the community that we got in my area back in LA. So I'll keep an eye on that one. Hopefully we'll get control of that and step into something where we haven't got to fear that ping. There's nothing worse than hearing the alarm go off and wonder, is it in my area? But yeah, less coffee, more water.
But for you, everything's good. I mean,
everything's good. We didn't get evacuated. I mean, I will say the scariest thing is to see flames up on top of the hill that normally I'll just see palm trees and blue skies, but to see flames on the top of the hill, which is an everyday view, is terrifying. Mm-hmm. But we all know people that have been affected by wildfires in the interior of BC. When I was in in Vancouver, we had people severely affected by that and having to evacuate up in the interior. So this sort of thing's everywhere. It's not specific to certain types of people. So
it's just scary that it's in such a densely populated area.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
Like
the amount of
insane.
Yeah. And those people that don't realize as well, it's not just film stars that live in Los Angeles. And there are massive families and generations that have lost everything. So, to poke fun and make comments that aren't cool is pretty fucking blind, to be honest with you, for some people. But moving forward, people will rebuild and everyone stayed strong, and that's cool.
That's awesome. All right. By the way, say hello to Tony. Tony, hello, Tony. There you are. And VJ baby, she says she's glad you're safe.
Oh, so, thanks. Yeah. And hi to everybody.
Yeah, let's go.
I did want to say there is a positive. I was talking to someone else who lives down in that area, and he's thankfully a little bit further away from the fires, still within LA, but he's in a safer place, and he's actually been looking to volunteer.
Yeah.
And he said he literally cannot volunteer because everything is full.
Yeah.
People are coming out in droves to help.
Yeah, we got like really I said, the community's been absolutely freaking fantastic. Like even the text chat of community that I have at the time of going, everybody was rounding up donations and saying where to take them and organizing to meet up in the morning with everything that you could donate, whether it be clothes, or it be food, or it be water, whatever it was. And they get to the donation sites that are closest to them, they're full up. They just can't take it. But the good thing with that is if you look hard enough, there's always somewhere that you can. And if you can donate this week, it ain't going anywhere. So, if you have got something to donate, then keep it, because it will be needed at some point. It's been a good rally. And that's what community does, right? That's what you want.
Like Mr. Rogers says, look for the helpers.
Yeah.
Look for the helpers. That's great. I love that. All right. Today's episode, we're celebrating 450 episodes. Look at Hose Nose, for example.
Yeah.
Here. Hang on. I'm just going to remove the other two for a second here. Look at this guy.
And festive.
I'm going to just zoom in there. Oops, not me. Sorry. That wasn't meant to be. Sorry. I apologize. Let's zoom in on. Look how good he looks.
I got my tie on. Tie in the tie. It's meta.
You're looking fantastic, sir.
Look at the sight of him.
So for those who
Jamie, isn't this like Apple for the teacher sucking up to the boss? I mean, what's going on here?
I mean, he's the new guy. You have
He's
to
the new
expect
kid.
it, right?
I gotta do something. I gotta take this hat off though, because it's
Yeah.
starting to dig into my
it's
skull.
all smoke and mirrors.
you look like a unitard.
Some kind of
No.
tard.
That was smooth, Steve. For those who are listening, he had a lovely party hat, Star Wars party hat on, which fit him like a unicorn. And now he's lost his headphones. He's got this great crop top, which looks like a Star Wars tuxedo.
You know when you build someone up and then they just crash down at the end of it. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, he fell hard. It's like
And he
like
couldn't even
Indiana
hear any
Jones
of
under
that.
the boulder here.
Yeah.
It's are you good, Steve? You got your headphones on now?
Yes,
All right, awesome.
world class.
So we're celebrating 450 episodes. We're celebrating 10 years. 10 years
It's crazy.
of the podcast. I think it's officially today.
Yeah, that is
So
crazy.
like, dude, I can't imagine like we've 10 years. It's so cool. I mean, it's nothing really stopping us than ourselves, really. It's not like we have like Fox or NBC telling us, oh, ratings are down, we're gonna have to cancel you. So oh my goodness, what better way to get a congratulations from this lovely person right here.
Wow.
Oh shit!
Oh, this
Good
is
evening. Good evening to Paul Sangang Lee. Thanks for joining us
great.
back on the
Thank
West
you,
Coast.
Paulie.
Mm-hmm. That's
Paul,
awesome.
thank you so much. That means a lot to us. I appreciate it. You were one of our first guests in year 8, I believe, in January, and that was like I think year 7, year 8. That was like I still have so much fun listening back to that conversation we had with Paul Sung-Young Lee. It was just so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
What a
we really
start of an
appreciate
illustrious career.
that. Oh yeah.
You know, that was when it was just ramp. It was looking like it was plat, and then it just ramped. So look at that.
So in honor of 10 years, I got a favorite for Jamie here. We're going to have the Jamie Pale Rider ASMR of the day. Today's drink is Spinnaker's soda company here. So hang on, listen to this. Oh yeah. And listen to the pour. There you go. Isn't that lovely? There we go. Jamie, you liking this?
No, this is terrible. Why are you wasting time doing this?
Because
It's-
this is just the start of ticking you off today.
What
It's
is it?
wasteful and disgusting.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking a lovely Spinnaker's lemonade soda from Victoria.
We are not
Spinnaker's
sponsored, by
from the
way.
island.
This is
We're
all
not
just,
sponsored at all. What are you talking about? Spinnaker's, if you're listening. But that's just I don't know if you know this. Every time I live stream video games, lately it's been GeoGuessr. And I've been doing my Pale Rider ASMR of the day. Start off the show.
Don't attach my name to that.
Oh, I've had lots of positive comments with the sound of the tinkling sound.
Bunch of sick bastards out there.
Oh, dude, you're missing out. We
I'm
gotta get the
not.
mukbang going, sir.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, man.
That's the show that started
Yeah.
friendship.
Focus on the
Yeah.
nice things Polly's saying. Yeah.
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 Let's get back to that.
Oh,
I
Tony
will
says
distract-
congrats.
Tony, yeah, thanks for bringing the positivity, guys. This is
I remember meeting you guys. I think it must have been 9 or 10 years ago at one of the fan expos. Terry's like, oh, there's these guys from this podcast, Generation X-Wing, and we were doing, I think, back when we did the Kids Hour. I don't
Yeah.
know why we did that, but yeah, and I met you guys there.
That was I think we're still in single or just started double digits when we first met Terry. Yeah, we went to the fan expo, met I remember meeting Kat for the first time. He was the first 501st member I met, chatted with Kat, and then we're like, as me, Josh, Bulent, and Neil were sitting around, we're like, we gotta get to know more of these people. These guys are really cool. I mean, these guys like dress up like Star Wars action figures for fun. And so we talked to Terry. He came on the show, and that was the day I was like, yeah, I'm sold. I want to do this. I tried to put Terry's bucket, Scout Trooper bucket on. It would not fit, but I got the TK bucket on. But learned how to turn it sideways, pop it on. So, anyways, today we're not going to wax poetically about 10 years. We're actually going to but we are going to bring it to the roots. We are going to talk about Star Wars. The reason why the podcast started, and we're going to start a little bit about Skeleton Crew spoilers right off the bat. We're going to do Skeleton Crew spoilers. It's been like a week and a half now. It's good. So we're going to talk about Skeleton Crew for the first little while, and then we're going to dig into a common thing that I hear every time there's a new Star Wars show that comes out in on social media. There's Acolyte, Skeleton Crew, Boba Fett. He goes like, "Oh, it's Lucasfilm versus Disney," and you always hear the haters and complainers and the defenders. And I just want to kind of have a little discussion about both eras, and was it so good or is it so bad, and kind of discuss the positive and negatives of both. And this is where I get to poke and prod Jamie a little bit, because he just hates the old man shaking fist at clouds at days, so which is usually Posenos. But let's talk Skeleton Crew. Steve 3, you've seen the whole series, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'm all caught up.
What did you think of the series?
I really enjoyed it. I'm not just saying it to be on the other side of it. I really enjoyed it. Quite honestly, really enjoyed it. It was, to me, I think I said, if we've chatted about it before, it didn't have to be a Star Wars show to me. The fact it was is just an added bonus. It was just enjoyable from start to finish. It was a adventure show, and I loved it. I didn't have to pick it apart for any reasons whatsoever. I just enjoyed every episode leading me on to this story. A lot of the time we don't go into these things trying to figure it out, trying to make it happen before it happens. And this is one of the shows you didn't have to, even if you got the spoilers on social media, it didn't really matter. You just look forward to watching the show and seeing what was going to happen next. I enjoyed it. It was good fun, and I'll probably watch episodes again.
Yeah, this one's one of the shows you go back to watch again. Is that what you're saying, Steve?
Yeah, I'd watch it again. It was a lot of fun, a lot of fun. I didn't have to pick it apart and analyze it. I just enjoyed it. So you can watch it again and see things you didn't see. I'm going to get so much grief about it. So, I travel everywhere with water now, just in case. But yeah, this is.
So for those listening, basically, Paulie just mentioned Steve 3 needs a bigger jug to drink out. He's got this like water cooler jug.
It's 3 liters of water, man.
A 3-liter container of water. You don't
water.
have any,
I swear to God, it's
containers.
water.
And where the hell are you?
The funny thing, as we get sidetracked on this, though, I'm in the same room I was in the last time I joined Paul on a live, and he surprised me with takeout food to my door.
Steve's carry-on luggage, he says.
Yeah. Luckily, it's not the only thing I've got left, but yeah.
I recognize the room now. Once you mention this is the room where they put the memorial of you.
Not only is it the same hotel, but it's the same freaking room that they announced my death on live YouTube. He's like, "Oh, if you had anything, come to your room." And then I call down, and it's like, "Oh yeah, we've had a food delivered for you." And I sat there and ate my gyoza.
That's funny.
After sending pictures of eating an apple with no clothes on. I think that was what started it. What a bizarre time to be alive.
Jamie, let's hop over to you now. Wanted to ask you if I want to ask you, Jamie. So, how did you enjoy this series? I mean, we talked about it at the beginning. It seemed to have a good reaction from the beginning. Did it hold up for you?
Absolutely, it was awesome. I loved it from start to finish. My only complaint, if you can call it that, was the episodes felt a little bit short, and just as things were getting like really good, they would cut the episode off.
Isn't that what builds excitement for the next episode?
It is, but you don't have to end every episode on a goddamn cliffhanger.
Wow.
I mean, I kind of agree with you on the one episode where they went to the other planet, I guess at Aden Light or something like that.
Wish at Aden.
It kind of ended a little bit suddenly, where he's got so many names. Jude Law just kind of like comes out of the fog, and he's like, "Oh, I'm here to rescue you." It kind of ended suddenly, but for the most part, cliffhanger.
I'm so excited to be able to just watch it all at my own speed now and not be throttled by episode releases, because like that's just from like episode 1 or 2. I'm like, I can't wait to just watch it all in one shot.
Yeah, because we do that with other shows, right? I mean, it's like, how many times do you watch Rebels? How many times do you watch other? I mean, it doesn't have to be Star
100%.
Wars. I mean, another thing like that to me is the Arcane show, right? If you've watched that, that's another one I love to watch. and you can watch it from start to finish. And they end that one. You're like, oh, skip to the end, man. I want to get to the next episode. I think any show that makes me upset that it's come to an end, they've done a great job. So I don't have any complaints on that one.
Hose Nose, you as well. When we started this talk of Skeleton Crew, you seem to really enjoy this. So did it hold up for you?
Yeah, it did. I also really enjoyed it all the way through. I thought the story was fun. The characters are fun. Like you said, I didn't have to get hung up on analyzing every little detail of Star Wars this, Star Wars that. How does it play into the mythology and lore and all that? And no, I liked it. I liked that it broke away. It was like Steve said, it could not have been a Star Wars thing, and that was just a bonus. The kid actors I thought were great. And one thing that I really did like actually was that bit of the mystery of what is AT-AT and what's going on there. So I liked trying to figure that out and everything. So I enjoyed it all the way through.
Tony
kind of appreciated the Easter eggs as well. You know, we all talk about Easter eggs in these shows, and it's, I don't know, if you're making one of these shows and you get the privilege and the excitement of being involved with making your own version of something you love, I think it's got to be amazing to put an Easter egg into it, you know, because that gets you excited. And if it pisses off fans, then so be it. But man, just imagine being in that position where you're in control of making your own Star Wars. It's so much fun to put that little Easter egg in there, you know. See it for the fun it is, you know.
Easter eggs and like callbacks, just stuff to, I don't know. It really just, you see that stuff in the show, and it just indicates to you that whoever made the show is coming at it from a place of love, right?
Yeah, and not just Star Wars either, right? Yeah. Everything we used to love about adventure and break away from the norm, you know. Everyone kept saying, "Oh, Goonies is absolutely, man. Give me more of it," you know.
Yeah.
Kids on Bikes, man. It's great.
Any Spielberg movie.
Yeah, because we don't get enough of that now. That breakaway and adventure, right? And to have that nostalgia hit, I'll take it. Give me that pack of nostalgia gummies, man. I'm chewing on them. I'm chewing on them. Anything to break me away.
Tony says he wishes the season was longer, and he was excited for each episode. Every character was likable. Even the villains wanted to see more of them. Yeah, the Easter eggs that were sprinkled in nicely and not thrown down your throat. Yeah, and I think that was pretty good. I think as much as a fan of Boba Fett, Book of Boba, I like, some of the Easter eggs were kind of like, but at the same time, it was just like, it had that sort of 80s Spielberg feel, as you guys were saying. The adventure, the
Kids on Bikes genre.
It was separated enough from Star Wars, but still connected enough from Star Wars. It didn't have to keep reminding us of Luke and Leia, but it still had that that love of adventure that we loved when we were first watching Star Wars, I'd say.
I mean,
so good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Needed more Tiva. So I was still looking for you, Paul.
So in the timeline of this, where would that stand then? Let's get nerdy with this. If we had, what would we have had, a young Carson Tava, or would
So we were discussing this. I was discussing this on my live show, and we kind of figured that this happened around either just after The Mandalorian last episode, or maybe just before. It's around that area. And Vane the pirate, Marty Matulis being that sort of kind of sinew that connected the timeline somewhere.
Okay, so the expert in this has commented. The timeline is okay. All right.
I saw a mention saying that there's a chance in like the Mando and Grogu movie that the Skeleton Crew people, there's a chance they can show up because it's the same time.
Oh yeah, Christ! Then let's take that chance.
Dude,
and see some of that.
All I could think of every time we saw an X-wing and we didn't see Carson Tava is Darth Vader asking Emperor Palpatine, "Where's Carson?"
Paul's amazing at this, and I think it's like a true friend that doesn't tell you everything that's coming your way, even if he knows it's coming your way. And so you just never know, right? And so I'm watching it, and I saw the X-wings come in that episode, and I'm thinking, I wonder if there's another thing that's been kept tightly under wraps. And I was wondering if we were going to get some of it.
How hard would it be to keep that kind of stuff under your hat and not be able to tell your friends because you're excited?
Great at it. Yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
Don't play poker with Polly, apparently.
You know what? It must be one of the worst things to be involved with this, because you can, right?
Yeah,
And
you can't
I
say
think
shit.
if you and the thing is, when
Mhm.
you're a fan of, I'm not going to speak for him, but I can kind of get the fact when you're a fan of the show, when you're a fan of the genre, and when you're so into it, you're not gonna jeopardize that for anything, man. You want to be part of that, right? So you won't do that. It's
Well, yeah, you don't want to
it's a
spoil
curse.
anything.
It's a curse, but also a blessing.
Gift and a
right?
curse. Yeah,
Yeah. But when it comes
Yeah.
out, holy moly, is a celebration. Right?
Paulie gets a
Absolutely.
lot of nosebleeds, he says. So
Yeah.
I did want to, before we step off of Skeleton Crew, just my 2 cents. I really enjoyed it. I was looking forward to every single episode that came out. I did want to ask you guys about the finale because, as like every show that comes out, there's always a build up to something at the end. There was a bit of me that was kind of pulled away at the end just by and I'm not analyzing this like why does bombs drop in space sort of BS, but at the same time it was just there was some questions that I had at the end, like Jude Law's, we got the answer of why he had the Jedi powers. What was he faking it? Was it real? You know, we just got enough of his backstory.
Mhm.
Didn't have to go into too much, just enough. It was perfect. It connected with 66, but it was enough. And it kind of told why he's this type of person. But I still felt like At-Aten is such this important place, and it's controlled by one droid, and it's just like stab him, done, whole place shuts down. And that was really the biggest problem I had. I mean, we talk about, like, you talk about the president of the United States or prime minister. If something was to happen to them, they've got backup plans to keep the country going. This one here was stabby, done, take over the place. I got some gold.
Okay,
and that
so
was something that bothered me.
My comeback on that one then, and is the supervisor's tower. We all know that no one goes in the supervisor's tower.
Yeah.
I think they did a really good job of explaining to us that nobody questions the authority. Everybody is born and raised in this environment where there is no communication, there is no outside world, there is nothing but what you know. There's no one chomping at the bit to get up the tower and see what's going on. So I think that's why it can be got away with that way. No, they're also blinded. They're also steered.
I'm not saying they're fear from them, but why do they have security system around them, around the planet? So no, the people getting in, someone got in. People will figure a way to get in. The pirate did.
The pirate figured out a way to get in, but it was by having one of those craft that would be able to signal the bypass, right? But no one else even knows where the planet is, and they never have. And we saw also that when they approached the planet, even though they knew where the planet was, they were not going to take the risk of going in there because they don't know about the force field. They see it as this gas that's just going to destroy them.
The Paulie says the centralized droid system is something that was well established in the Star Wars universe. Trade feds were defeated because of it in Episode 1. So this guy Star Wars is, thanks Jamie in the chat room. So yeah, it's just I get that. It's just it felt like I felt a little bit let down by that, but at the same time, I did dig the droid kind of calling out Jude Law's character right from the beginning. He's just like, so which one are you lying about? Are you lying about Jedi? Or are you lying about this? And that was
Stephen Fry as well.
Stephen Fry. Stephen friggin' Fry.
Yeah.
Perfect.
God damn, that was beautiful.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I said to Ali, is that Stephen Fry? She's like,
Just to have Stephen Fry part of the Star Wars universe now, I'm almost excited as when I found Clint Howard was part of the Star Wars universe. It's just
that's
so
a weird
exciting
thing to be excited for, Rob.
Oh yeah, dude. When I saw Clint Howard, I was like, it's freaking Clint fucking Howard.
So did you buy posters and hope that you're going to see him at some sort of, fan event? Clint Howard signatures?
He's coming over for lunch later.
Yeah.
So anyways, it was a great series. Part 2, do you think it's happening? Do you think it's coming out?
Yeah, I hope so.
I don't know. I hope so. Because then if now I know the timeline, call myself a fan of Star Wars. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, if we got the timeline right, then why not? Give us some more. I mean, I don't know. If he didn't, I wouldn't be bothered because I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and, it's good as is.
I enjoyed Stranger Things when it came out. I enjoyed the second season of Stranger Things. And, I watched the third one. But it's like anything. Once you've seen it, you kind of move on. You don't necessarily need to keep going through, right?
It's okay to have a self-contained story that has a defined ending.
It'll be interesting to see if they do a sequel, how do they do it and do it well? Because like I said, it's kind of like got a nice little ending right now, right?
Yeah, I'd say you got to go ahead by about 10, 15 years, possibly. Fast forward the children to adults. Because
that's always a challenge of the writing, right?
Yeah.
It's like, how do you follow that up in a way that, one, makes sense for the story, and two, is still entertaining and doesn't just throw away everything you did in season one, right?
Yeah.
Because we got a lot of unquestioned answered questions as well. What happens to Jude? What happens to the pirates? Where'd they go?
What did you? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
No, I was just going to say the one nitpicky thing for me was Jude Law's tricorn hat when he was the pirate.
Yeah.
Did it not look like a bedpan upside down? Yeah. As soon as I saw that,
absolutely.
That's all I could think of.
Yeah.
That's all I could think of.
This is a really valid point.
I was going to think of that too.
Same thing with Stranger Things, right?
So if I can read it, sorry, Steve 3. There's also the real life challenge of the young actors' age in real life, and totally.
Yeah, if you're not filming it now, it's not going to really compute, And when teenagers grow into semi-adults, it's not quite as good.
Well, yeah, look at the jump between Ghostbusters Afterlife and Frozen Empire, right? Like that Afterlife was in the can for a long time too. So you watch the trailer for Frozen Empire and you're like, who the hell is that?
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's podcast. He's just older.
Yeah. And it's like Paul said, if you don't film it all, straight away, they're going to grow up and then they're going to be different to what you've seen in the season before. I mean, people, as long as that story does progress through and they grow, you can do it, right? But it's like Anakin.
Talented actors though, man.
Anakin Skywalker, right?
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys. Really appreciate that. Now, so
I have one more comment.
Yeah, please.
And I'm allowed because I've been missing and tired.
Yeah, of course.
It's not. We talk about nostalgia. The one thing I was going to say on that was it's not just the nostalgia of the movies, and I think relevant to us, Generation X-Wing. I think it's nostalgia of reliving our lives, not just the movies, because we always talk about the riding of the bikes, the running into the woods, the adventure. It's not just movies that gave us that. We actually lived that kind of life and we actually got out and did those things. So that's the nostalgia that triggers the love for it, not just movie references, just the whole way of life. It's great to go back to that and remember when you could do that. So I just wanted to mention that.
Good point. Really good point. So, you mentioned Generation X. I mean, we were all young at the perfect age to experience something like Star Wars when it first came out in 77, 70, 80, 83, and not to forget the holiday special, but
or we could
or not. But so nowadays when we see a new TV show coming out or mention of a movie, or even just when Lucasfilm or Disney releases a timeline of the next few movies, and sometimes it's adjusted and changed and stuff like that, we always get a lot of people who are either very pumped, very excited, or very frustrated. And then when people start understanding what the story's about and the characters, and there's always the Grandpa Simpson shaking their fist saying Disney killed Star Wars, and then there's some that are just like enjoying what's coming down the road. And we see Disney really taking advantage of the Star Wars name and just putting it on everything that they own, and having great rides and just really pushing the Star Wars lore and making it relevant again for a new generation. But it's not the same as what we remember as kids. So I get personally frustrated, and maybe Jamie, you can continue with this idea, but I get personally frustrated when I hear people saying Disney killed Star Wars. But at the same time, I understand from one point of view, but I just don't get it from another. What about you, Jamie? What do you feel about that?
Oh, I know you're trying to get me riled up a little bit, but I hate that expression that, oh, this ruined my childhood. This ruined, whatever. It'll always be there. You're like, would you rather have zero new content coming out? Like that? Yeah, we'll always have the stuff that we liked. It will always be there. You can just go back and watch that. But yeah, and the people that are hating on the Disney stuff, they were there before Lucas sold Lucasfilm to Disney, hating on the stuff that Lucas was making. I feel like that's one of the big reasons why he sold it. Like, why the hell would he keep making stuff if people were just hating the shit out of it.
Yeah. I wanted to I sent you guys a list a couple days ago. I compiled a list of all the movies, and just movies and TV. I couldn't get into books or video games or anything else, action figures. But I made a list of all the movies and TV shows in the Disney era and in the Lucas era. And so in Disney era, we have things like Star Wars episodes 7, 8, and 9, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker. We also had movies like Rogue One and Solo. Rogue One being some of people's favorite Star Wars movie above the original 3. So TV shows we've had from Disney: The Mandalorian series, Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Andor, Ahsoka, Acolyte, Skeleton Crew. Animated shows including Star Wars Rebels, Star Wars Clone Wars Final Season, Star Wars Resistance, Bad Batch, Tales of the Jedi, Young Jedi Adventures, and Star Wars Visions. So, the little the smaller anime ones. So that's quite a good list so far. What do you think of that list, Steve Hosnose?
Yeah, I think it's good.
Did you genuinely enjoy? What did you say? Most of that, some of that? What?
I'd say some of that, because I'll be honest, there's some of it I have not watched, especially a lot of the animated stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some hits and misses in the TV shows and the movies. I think I'm one of the people who love Rogue One. I'm not saying it's better than the originals, but I think it's one of the better Star Wars ones. But then there's Solo, which I really not a fan of at all. So, column A, column B sort of thing. So.
Right.
But
sorry, I apologize. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I think there's a lot of good stuff and there's some not so good stuff. But it's not like you can't shit all over it and hate it and say Disney's ruined everything. I think that's just ridiculous, because there was the Dark Ages, as we all know, when there was no Star Wars.
The Dark
at
Times.
all.
Yeah.
And you're still playing with
99.
you're still playing with your action figures from 74 or 76, and it's like, that's it. That's all I got, right? So
books, novels,
we had books and comic books back then, and the books were good.
Some of us can't read.
Speaking of Steve 3,
speaking of not reading,
I want to ask you, Steve, of that list I just gave you, is that a good batting average for you?
What do you mean by that? I mean, do I enjoy all of it, or do I?
Yeah,
how in cricket terms, Rob?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a pretty good list of good Star Wars films in your mind? Did you enjoy most of those?
Yeah, I mean, everything you guys have just said rings true. I mean, we're living in an age where you have a choice right now. You have a choice of stuff you can watch for Star Wars. And here's another thing that people don't seem to realize anymore is everyone's different. And everybody wants certain things. This is why not everybody's, everyone, not everyone's going to get along. Not everyone's going to be in the same room and enjoy each other's company. That's just the way life is, man.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You guys have been given a palette of stuff to decide what you like and what you don't like. The issue we have is that the cool thing to do is bitch and moan and hate on the shit that you don't like, and try and convince the people that may have liked it that they shouldn't like it because they didn't like it and you shouldn't like it. And that's the problem we have. I think it's okay to put out a TV show and you not really enjoy it, right? And if you don't enjoy it, the thing you're blessed with right now is that you can move on to something else and maybe enjoy that. So everyone that was beating up, crying and losing their shit about with Acolyte, are probably people that are now going, I really enjoyed watching, or maybe not. Maybe they've just got this cape of hate and they're going to wear it because they got a load of followers that say, yeah, fuck everyone. Let's cancel it all, right? So I just think we're in an age where we got a choice. We got a choice of something in a genre we enjoy. We can pick and take which one we want to have. We can buy it. We can watch it. We can stream it. We can watch it whenever we want. That includes the animation. That includes the TV shows. That includes the movies. What a great way to be. What a great way to have a choice. It's the same as the action figures and the toys that you can buy out there. There's different brands, there's different makes, there's different renditions of this thing. You may not enjoy a certain range of toys that represent Star Wars, so you don't buy it, but you're going to go out and buy another range. We've got a choice out there. I'm also at the point where if I didn't get any for some time, I would kind of relish the thought of the build up to something else, because we've all been there and done it. So I think, yeah, just like Paul says in this, which I'm,
Yeah.
I don't read, so I just noticed it was up on the banner. But yeah, it's so when we talk about this a lot, and it gets us riled up. And I guess that's the game. That's the game they're playing. They want everyone to get riled up, but just don't watch it, man. Just stop spending your time trying to convince everyone else they shouldn't enjoy it, because that's bullshit. At the end of the day,
the rage bait and the clickbait is straight up the dark side. It's just it's quicker and easier to get clicks and views.
If I don't enjoy it,
more seductive.
If I don't enjoy it, I feel I have to have an explanation to why I didn't enjoy it, and I'll tell someone why I didn't really enjoy it. But there's also going to be something within a show that didn't hook me to make me want to watch it again and again and again that I enjoyed, right? So there's always something that gets done right, because it's this genre that we love. You can't complain about having too much, I guess.
I do enjoy having conversations with people who liked a Star Wars thing that I didn't particularly enjoy, because I like talking about what they liked about it. Like maybe it was something I missed, but at the end of the day, if I didn't like something, I'm happy that other people do. I'm happy that we have enough variety out there that, like you said, like there's so much variety that there's lots for people to like out there.
And the varieties bringing in new people too. Like my wife, she's not a big Star Wars fan, but when she found out that, oh God, I'm blanking on his name, the showrunner for Andor was doing it. He did
Gilroy.
Yeah.
Tony Gilroy.
Like, holy shit, he's a real dude. Like, I'm in. So that hooked her to watch it, and then we totally got into it, right? Again, different stuff for different people.
But remember, the adult fans are going to want a little bit more gritty death and destruction. They want to move away from the kid stuff. So they get disappointed when they don't get enough of that, right? They don't want to have anything that was to do with today's society involved in it, because that's not Star Wars, right? That's what gets them mad. And they want it to be a bit more death and destruction and badass Jedis and beating up Sith and, shooting, blasting bombs and guns and boom, right? That's what everyone wants. But you don't need that to have a good show. And I think rolling back to the beginning here, we've just had that. We've had a great show that didn't necessarily even need to be Star Wars, right? It gave us a lot of stuff that was fun. But I'm sure there's people out there that hated it.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
I want to jump on something you mentioned, C3. You were talking about the action figures. Well, I remember back in like 83 or so, and now, or even like so 1990, I'm now graduating high school. I'm excited. I got some spending money, and I can't buy anything Star Wars. There's nothing out there. Maybe we go down to the States and you buy that. What was those? It was like Hallmark action, like non-moving action figures or Celebration.
Just little tiny statuettes.
Yeah, I had the name like 3 seconds ago, but I totally forgot. But that was like, I was pumped to see those. That's Star Wars. I want to buy something Star Wars. It's a keychain. You rarely saw that because they weren't making it. Now everywhere you go, crap. I got a teacher friend who just gave me about 50 stickers of Star Wars. And I was curious to see which ones I would choose. And I went old school and pretty much most of them, except for Solo. I love Solo. But it was just like old school stuff. And every time something Star Wars is, I'm always got an eye on it. Do I want that? Do I not want that?
Like,
I always get reminded of, or whatever comes into my head when we talk about the crying fans. The end of Dodgeball, when he sat there on the bed and he's eating all the chicken again, and he doesn't.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
That's the image I get in my head of the disturbed and disappointed fans going, "I hate it," but I hate it. But they're gonna go, and they're gonna cave and buy this, and they're gonna get that, and it just reminds me of what's his name from Dodgeball.
Ben Stiller. Who's to even say that hate in like the rage beta YouTubes is even genuine? Like, it generates clicks, but at the end of the day, it's entirely possible. I don't want to spend too much thought on it, but it's entirely possible that these people are loving everything that comes out, but that kind of content doesn't get the views on YouTube.
I totally agree, because when we started the show off air, I was talking about the title of the show and what to run down. Actually, I forgot to run the banner. This banner right here: Lucas versus Disney. Which do you prefer and why? That is clickbaity. I purposely did that because I one of the things I enjoy doing is when I see Skeleton Crew or any show, I like going to other YouTube channels and seeing all the Easter eggs and see if I caught some of them and stuff. I just like a little bit of recap. But then I noticed some of these things, they just throw out the clickbaity Star Wars is over. And then you have a picture of I don't know, Picard shaking his head or something. And it's just like, I don't need to be talked down to in that sort of way. Don't clickbait me like that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we just talked about there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
For them, they feel they've been jaded and it's ruined and they don't want to go in. For them, as far as they're concerned, it's done until the next thing that they enjoy, right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. They want to get support. They want to get the people to come in and say, yeah, you're right.
Like,
you should champion it. But I tell you what, you pick up the pen and you write the story and you do what needs to go into it. And you see if you can get a beginning, a middle, and an end that keeps everyone hooked all the way through without copying anyone else, without using anything else. See how easy it is, Mother Hubbard. And I'm gonna watch it.
I got a question for you guys. I'm sorry, Jamie. I was just wondering, with this new era, the Disney era, do you feel like there's maybe too much?
What's
that
too
is
much?
a concern.
Well, it just I just part of the reason why I haven't watched some of this stuff is I just don't have time and I can't keep up with everything, and I'm kind of in some ways not like overloaded with it, but it's starting to feel that way in a bit. Kind of like how the Marvel universe, there's so much and everything is so interconnected, and if you haven't watched this thing, you're not going to understand that thing.
Yeah.
And
who says you need to keep up though?
the guy on the internet.
The internet man.
Yeah.
That guy was very angry.
Yeah.
He's a real fan. He must be right.
That's right.
He's a real fan.
Real fan.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you a little bit. Sometimes it can be, and that's a legit concern I have. Sometimes it's too much of a good thing. And I can totally understand that. And like there is so much Star Wars merch out there. It's just like, okay, enough of that. But, and maybe that is what some people are upset about. They're just inundated with Star Wars and this isn't special anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point, Rob.
But it is,
it's a good point, you know?
It still is. I don't know.
I think
feel
so.
like
I think so.
If you like it, it's absolutely special. You're just getting more of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will's got to stop copying everything I say.
Paulie mentions my beef is with these YouTubers is they think they're smarter than the people that actually make the shows and can do better. Prove it. It's so easy to cast stones and talk big. Put up or shut up.
Fucking preach, dude. If they were so smart, they would be writing TV shows instead of ranting about them on YouTube.
I think I said that about 5 minutes.
And also, she says Steve 3 needs a second mouth to drink from his barrel.
But just needs a bigger opening in the barrel.
But here's another thing as well. It's like there's people out there are convinced that Disney's killed it, and I will say that you are going to get swamped. You are going to get smothered with everything marketable possibly you can do with it. That's just the way it works, man. But when you go to somewhere like Batu, when you go to Galaxy's Edge and you immerse yourself in what Disney's given you, do you go there and you become that guy eating the chicken going, I hate this?
Oh,
no,
this is so dumb.
Right? Or do you go there and you'll pick apart the fact that maybe you've got first order stormtroopers instead of the old, ones. But that's just what you got right now. That's the world they built. So suck it up, Buttercup. That's the way it's going to be.
Totally.
I love that. I love going there. I just got back from there and it was the best thing I needed in my life, just to immerse myself into this little universe. It's just a corner of a theme park. But man, they did a good job on it. And I just sit there and I hear all these craft going over my head and I'll pop into this little cafe that's designed like it's going to be out of this world, and I'll get on the rides and I'll be surrounded with this atmosphere and everybody's having a great time.
Hell yeah.
Everybody's having a great time. I love that escapism, and we wouldn't have that if it wasn't for Disney giving it to us, right? So what are you going to do? Are you going to hate them and boycott everything they do, or are you just going to shut the fuck up and just let us enjoy what we got?
Right?
You know?
Yeah.
To quote Lisa Simpson, quote Lisa Simpson, Paul Anka, just don't look. It's just you don't have to if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Sorry, suppose no.
No, I was just going to say I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit, but I think with the movies, I'm kind of glad they pumped the brakes a little bit because they were coming out fast and furious, and we talked about it earlier. I kind of like having that build up, that anticipation, and sometimes having that little bit of withdrawal, like, oh God, I need it, sort of thing, right? And having to wait for it. Yeah, and not getting
anticipation is fun.
Yeah, and not getting every character's backstory and not getting everything explained to you, like in a new movie, right? So I'm kind of glad they pumped the brakes a bit on that.
It did come out, as you're saying. I was looking at the list here. Episode 7 in 215, Rogue in 216, episode 8 in 17, Solo in 18, and then Rise of Skywalker in 19. Boom, 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 boom. And I know, speaking from a teacher who parents are who want to take their kids to the movies, some parents were really confused, like, well, where does Rogue fit in? And when you suddenly hear, like, we got Star Wars, come on up, step right up, and okay, which one's this? Where does this go? Where does that fall under? So Solo, before or after Star Wars? And it kind of threw people off a little bit, but at the same time, you got some really good movies out there that just like it was, when you open the door to the foyer, there's streamers, there's balloons everywhere. Welcome to the party. It's going to be a lot to take in, but I think looking back at it now, it's easier to figure all that out. But it was a lot, as you said. It really hit us hard. Sorry, Paulie says C3 can do the Foley for the Poseidon adventure every time he chugs from his shipping container.
Dude, can this be a recurring segment on our show where we're doing our show, but then Paulie's there doing the roast of Steve 3 in the comments? Because that's fucking gold.
Welcome to my life.
Steve's doing his own ASMR by the looks of it.
No, what I'm going to do though is every time we do a live, I'm going to increase the size of my water container. And one day I'm going to come live from behind a glass.
Do you watch Critical Role? What's Sam? Sam has a jerry can of water that he's got every time. Yeah, I love that idea, man. Let's see how big of a container you can drink out of before it just becomes
happening. Keep it coming.
So I gave you the list of the Disney era shows. I wanted to give you the list of the George Lucas era shows, and in comparison, because sometimes I think we are rose-tinted glasses kind of make us miss a few things. So we obviously have episodes 4, 5, 6. You have New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Sith. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Most of those, I say, people are for. I mean, there was a point where the prequels were completely hated, but now, as the people who used to watch them as kids started to get older, they start to love those. So it's a bit of up and down for the prequel. But we also had the animated movie, The Clone Wars, which was our introduction to Ahsoka. We also have TV movies. So we've talked about these in the past. Caravan of Courage, Ewoks, The Battle for Endor. These are Lucasfilm shows. We also had, and we joked about it before, but it is part of what George Lucas provided, the holiday special. That is part of what George Lucas...
I love the holiday special.
It is got its own weirdness that I adore. But we also got, not only do you have the Clone Wars for the first few seasons, majority of the season of Clone Wars, which was a huge hit. But we also forget about Star Wars Droids and Star Wars Ewoks. And I have tried to sit down and watch those again now. It's kind of a tough go. Maybe some gummies is needed, but
the Droids theme song is a banger.
The Droids theme song is a friggin' banger. Love it. I put it on the iPod for when we troop, but it's just like the batting average isn't so great. I mean, you got the friggin' home runs off the first 3, and now.
So, question before you move on from that one. Yeah. So we're all big fans in here. We enjoy the world of Star Wars. How many of you guys own Caravan of Courage or the Ewok Adventure?
I don't.
Okay, Steve?
Nope.
Jamie, you have it? Do you have it on? Okay, so you don't have it anymore. Put your hand down. Put your hand down, you liar.
I owned it.
Jamie on this one.
I don't have the receipts, but I had
Jamie
it on
can
VHS.
Speak for himself, Rob. He doesn't need to be backed up. Okay, so you had it on VHS, and did you watch it a lot and then got rid of it? Why don't you have it anymore?
Oh, because I got rid of all my VHSs.
Okay, so it was just the fact you got rid of VHSs.
Yeah.
Okay, so throwing it out there to the chat, here we go. No, who out there owns any of those movies Rob just ran off? The Caravan of Courage, The Battle for Endor, Do they have like a collection of?
Yeah, are they
the other
available
ones?
on like Blu-ray or anything?
I'm not sure. You can always get something, right? Because I
You
own.
can watch them on Disney Plus, which I have.
Yeah.
There you go. Right. So I don't watch them because they're hard. The only time I watched them is when we had to watch them for the show, right?
Tony had them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
those were
think Rob-
big for me as a kid, man. They were
Rob's got a point.
huge.
Rob's got a point, right? Like some of that stuff doesn't hold up, and it's made by the maker, right? We're not gonna piss on the chips. I'm one of those guys who went through the
What
dark
does that
times.
mean?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, yeah. But you know, we all were there. I mean, I did go and feel a bit of disappointment when I had the drought, you know, the dark times, and I went to watch episode 1 with my self-created build-up of what was going to come next from this thing that had never been seen before, which is another good point, right? And I had disappointment. I wasn't into it. It kind of shook me. But I was at an age where it could, because it didn't give me what I needed, and I could just switch off from that and go back to booze and going out on Saturday night, right? So I have learned to appreciate and enjoy those movies, though, right? Oh yeah, I got the DVD copy too, and I've got the story on the inside of it. Have you seen that? Has anyone seen that?
Okay, sorry, you got Steve.
Oh yeah, we're live. Yeah, we're live.
Yeah. For audio, you got to read what.
So Paul, Captain Carson Tabor has chipped in, because in case they don't know who's talking.
Nobody pissed on his chips.
Yeah, so he chipped in with it. He has a DVD copy of the holiday special, and again, I say I have a DVD copy of it too, because you need to, right? And I also, used to always go back and watch riff tracks, the commentary over it, because that makes it even more funny. But there's a documentary of the making of the holiday special as well that's come out on DVD, on Blu-ray. So that's one to get. Watch that. That's actually quite good, like a documentary of it, and you get to watch it. So that one's good.
Tony, you need to see it. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many of you have read the books and the comics from the dark times?
I read a few. The Tales of books, I read all of them, but other than that, that was it.
Shadows of the Empire was the only thing I read.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, Shadows for sure.
Is it? I read everything. There was some good content there, and that I would argue is also Lucas provided, because he signed off on all the high level story beats of every story.
Yeah.
Like they didn't make a story that wasn't authorized by him. And yeah, there were some really good ones in there.
But there was also there was Luke with 2 U's.
Yep.
And there was,
but that's
you say Luke with 2 U's. That was part of one of the greatest books. The Heir to the Empire trilogy is amazing.
Yeah,
and that's where Luke comes from.
Yeah.
So yeah, those books are great, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, the Rogue Squadron books, the Michael Stackpole and Aaron Elston books are my absolute favorite.
Yeah,
I actually have gotten second copies of all of them because I wore them out reading them. Like they're amazing.
Do you think that's part of the frustration for a lot of people, where some of these amazing books that you're talking about came before the transfer of power, and a lot of it was canon and now is legend?
Who cares if it's canon? It's all stories.
Yeah, stories.
Like
I think the frustration
we get
from
Star Wars
people,
Visions. That's not canon.
You're right.
Yeah, it's great stories. Yeah, great. Yeah.
Great entertainment. But reading a book, and I always joke, say I don't read. The thing is, I always fall asleep. It's actually really hard for me to read a book. I get.
Have you tried audiobooks?
No, because it's the same thing. It's I don't. Yeah. It's weird for me. I got to, because I love the stories, and I love hearing what people talk about with the literature and the stories you can get, and you can get so deep with literature. And another example with that, Jamie, is Ready Player One. When we talked about that and did that, and I got the book and read the book after watching the movie. Whereas I think you read the book and then watched the movie.
Yes.
And I remember talking. Was it you who wasn't as impressed with the movie as you were the book, and it was slightly
No, I
disappointed?
like the book.
So somebody was disappointed with the movie after reading the book, but I did it the other way around.
The book's always going to be better if that's your first experience of it, right?
So reading books is going to create an illusion of these amazing stories because of what you can do in a book, and the fact that your brain takes over and reads it and interprets it. And that's where I think, Rob, where you're coming from, is the creation of these stories gets made. And if somebody makes a movie based on some of these books, you're going to be sorely disappointed, because it's always going to be the vision you had in your head when you're reading the text, not necessarily person
everything
puts
is
down.
always going to be better in your head than it is in the movie adaptation or the TV adaptation. It's always going to be better in your head.
I will say the audiobooks that reminded me that I went through so many when I was building my first order tie because they were perfect. I'm like, I'm sitting there sanding armor for God knows how many hours. Right. And it's just, you have this story going in the background. You don't have to look at it. You don't have to watch it. And, you know, they're amazing for doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
I did want to talk about something else in a sec here, but I've wanted to throw an idea at you guys for a long time now, how I want to review the original Star Wars radio drama. I know it's hours upon hours, but it's something I've always wanted to do. What did Paulie say here? Steve 3 is trying to create his own back to tank every time he guzzles from his hydration chamber.
This is great. I love this content.
You've watched the Muppet Show, right?
Oh, yes. We reviewed it.
All right.
I actually started watching the Muppet Show.
Do I need to say any more from the peanut gallery up here?
Waldorf and Statler up there.
Yeah.
It's great.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you a question now. So people are crapping all over new Disney. I want you guys to give me something good about what the new Disney era has brought to the Star Wars world here. And I will start with one. And it connects to what you guys were saying. I love how they have taken parts of legendary stories. We saw it in Skeleton Crew with the name of all these pirate names and the themes, and just pull it into now what's canon. I love that they borrow from these things. And one day I'm still waiting for the Green Rabbit to pop by here and just see him somewhere. But what's something that Disney has really done to enhance the Star Wars brand? I'll start with Hose Nose.
For me, I think it's the going to new parts and new worlds and not focusing everything on the Skywalker saga and lightsabers. Skeleton Crew is the perfect example. We went to the suburbs, right? And seeing different areas and you know, Mando was like that, and these things that feel like Star Wars, but they're removed from Star Wars, if that makes sense. So
friggin' suburbs is awesome. I loved it.
But I mean, I think, you know, they've got the money behind them to do all this stuff too, right? So I think it's great.
How about you, C3?
I think what I've appreciated from it is having somebody like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni heading these things, you know. And I also love the fact they're bringing in different directors for some of these long-running TV shows to all contribute and give us their way of doing things. And I really appreciate that because, you know, some will hit the nail on the head, some may not, but they're giving these people the chance to come in and do their interpretations, and they're playing with that. And it's almost as if they're building this dream team of people that can provide us some content that we're going to enjoy some of it, right? If not all of it. And so I appreciate the fact that we're not just having a single kind of studio approach to it. I don't know if I'm making sense with that. We're getting all these different inputs from these different people that have a genuine love for this thing and know what they want to put on the screen.
Yeah,
so
it's not just one man driving things, right?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. It's a bunch of people with love for the brand all contributing. Yeah. It's great. Well said, Steve.
Before I jump to you, Jamie, stepping on that or leaping off of that one, we've always heard about the jokes around the prequels where Lucas was surrounded by yes men. Everything he said was great idea, let's do it. Now, whether it's true or not, I mean, we're not obviously behind those doors, but there was that feeling of, just as you said, one man controlling the show, and it's nice to have all these different ideas. Jamie, what about you?
Man, yeah, it's tough. Like I love most of the stuff that's coming out, and it's fun just to have that variety. Like if I'm in the mood for watching Star Wars, there's so much to choose from now, and I love it. And it's all stuff that's enjoyable and fun. Yeah, I can't really put my finger on one thing. Like I keep going, oh, Rebels, but like technically Rebels was Lucas with Filoni, and same with like Clone Wars and Ahsoka and all that stuff. Like Ahsoka's one of my favorite characters. She's great. and I'm happy we have characters like that kind of getting put center stage for a bit. It's great.
What do you think of the show, Ahsoka?
Love it. It's fun, man. Yeah, I just, dude, I absolutely love Clone Wars and Rebels. Like I have a watch just constantly going through both of those shows. And if I'm just in the mood to watch one or the other, I'll just pick it up from where I left off and keep going. Now, Rebels is really hard to finish. And I know 3 will back me up on this. Like I will typically stop in the last season of Rebels before the end and just start over, and nobody goes off to the farm to run and play with all the other Jedi. And,
Oh, you're like Phoebe before she watches the end of Old Yeller.
yeah.
But again,
Exactly.
it's a good point, and I don't want to keep flogging a dead horse on that one. But I didn't watch any of the animation myself for the longest time. But once I got past those first couple of seasons there, like season 1 is always going to be a hard thing, I think, with any animation. In my personal opinion, is they kidify it to be able to get the funding and the green light. And then once they get it rolling, that's when you see them really bring in what they want to bring in. That probably is not true, but
that's such a Filoni strategy, though, right? It's like he's got that thing down where he starts it off very kid friendly and fun, and then the show grows with the audience.
Yeah,
he did it with Clone Wars and he did it with Rebels. It's the same thing, and it's great. It's such a good formula. He did it with Ahsoka as a character. How many people hated Ahsoka?
She was my least favorite character when we first least favorite when it first came out.
Dude, if she was such a perfect and likable character right from the get go, there's no room for character growth.
Some people to this day still don't like Chopper.
Yeah, Chopper is not my favorite droid. He's an asshole.
Is you okay? Somebody behind you? Tony's saying storytelling, not focusing on one family. Very
storytelling is a good. And again, I'm not kissing ass or puckering up here, but we saw in Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, we've seen somebody like Carson Taver get introduced to it, but from a background of New Republic, X-Wing pilot, right? And I still to this day don't think we've delved deep enough into that storyline. And I'm really hoping that we get more of that stuff.
Where's my goddamn Rogue Squadron show?
Exactly.
Disney?
And I want to see these
X-Wings,
these interjections. I mean, we love the love triangle, the Hera story, and Carson Taver. If you don't know about it, Google it or speak to Ryan Dole. But we all know things have been going on. But that story, the story of those people, the story of those X-Wing pilots that have been out patrolling. I think that's such a story we need to have and hear. You talked about the books, right, Jamie? Yeah. But I think there's room for a show like that. And I 100%. Think we're missing out when we don't get that. We concentrate too much on the focal figures of Jedi and this.
There's so much room, but like at the end of the day, give me fucking Star Wars Top Gun. Give me that.
Yeah. There's so much that could be there.
I just want to see shirtless Grands playing volleyball.
Yeah.
Oh, so playing with the boys? Oh, so good, man. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. A shirtless Carson Teva playing volleyball.
Even look like?
Cool.
And there's something about the sound of an X-Wing when it comes in.
Dude.
There's something about it. So I hope we get to see someone take the leap and do that, because we were going to get the movie, right? We were going to get
with Patty Jenkins directing.
Patty Jenkins,
we were going to get that, and I kind of wanted to see that.
I was so excited.
Right. So, maybe we can get something in the form of a TV show or something at one point. But I really think that needs to be hit. We haven't had that yet. When have we had that? We haven't had that yet.
Like the books, like the X-Wing books are awesome. It's such a fun look into just your non-force powered, just rebels.
Yeah.
Just what their stories, like the first book centered around Wedge, and they're amazing. And then they kind of went with Wedge a little bit to a new squad. But yeah, that stuff is so much fun. And like the stakes are real, because it's not Luke and Han and Leia. They're like, obviously they're not going to kill Luke in a book from back then. That was one of Lucas's rules, by the sounds of it, is you do not kill Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
But all these other people are fair game. Like it's just, it feels risky and real. Like you're worried about these characters.
You had a Gamorrean pilot for.
Yeah. Dude, Piggy was great.
Piggy was great.
Don't you besmirch Piggy.
No, I
we're gonna
thought it was
fight.
great. Despite being rebel scum, I thought it was
And,
I want to know how he
dude,
gets into the cockpit though.
dude,
Wide.
he fits. I don't want to know how that cockpit smells afterwards. But,
Why do you assume they smell?
that's
I smell
fair.
bacon.
That was
Fair.
being the alien
Yeah.
racist.
How do
That
you
is
know?
fair.
How do you know it doesn't smell like apples
Maybe it
and
smells
limes?
like maple syrup. Yeah,
I have
don't know.
friends
know.
who are Gamorreans. I can say for a
Yeah.
fact. I wanted to hop on that one as well, Jamie, because we played Battlefront 2, which has a storyline of TIE pilots who are, and they have some sort of, obviously some camaraderie there, but we see it when she
Are you
turns
talking
over
about
to
Inferno Squad?
yeah, Inferno Squad. So, but when we see her switch over to the good guys, there, one of my favorite characters is the Duros. I can't remember his name. The Duros pilot
Oh,
who's snarky
Lando's
as hell.
sidekick. Dude,
Yeah,
I need a married couple sitcom with Lando and the Duros. Yeah, I can't remember his. They were great.
they were.
Their banter was amazing.
But that's it. I mean, you could have so much wonderful banter and camaraderie through something like that. I didn't play the X-wing game or the what was the
Oh, Squadrons is
I
great.
didn't play a Squadron game, but I did enjoy when I first
Dude.
started it. There was a lot of that sort of banter that went with each other there.
We'll have to
and
do
there's
a
history
playthrough
there.
or something on stream.
Yeah.
I love that game. I played through it dozens of times.
Yeah.
There's
I
one
like
more.
that game too, up until I played online, and then that killed
Yeah.
it for me.
Yeah, I couldn't
Oh,
play
yeah.
the game,
I,
but
Yeah, you have to
Ah.
play it
Online
with
is a
you
whole
have to
different
play it
beast,
with your
right?
crew. You have to
Yeah.
play it with
Yeah.
your crew, otherwise, yeah.
those guys
Like,
that
Did
spawn.
you
camp and-
enjoy the campaign though? Like the
Yeah, that
story?
was all right. I thought it was a little short.
Yeah, it was short for sure.
I thought it was pretty short.
Yeah.
And I will say with the Inferno Squad, how she flipped almost instantly. That was
The flip was
that
a little
could-
quick.
that could have been
Yeah.
dragged out a bit more. But
I was looking forward with Inferno Squad to getting more of that just everyday, just hardliner Imperial perspective.
And talking about what we've been given now, have you guys played the latest game?
Outlaws?
no, not yet.
which one?
Outlaws.
Yeah, I
Nope,
finished it. Finished it
Aaron-
over the break.
Okay.
Aaron gave it to me, and it's been sitting on my coffee table for about 3-4 weeks.
It's
so
great.
we're talking. I mean, that could be classified as something that we've got during the Disney age, right?
Yeah, that I would
100%.
totally agree because there's storylines. It's not like an Atari game where you're shooting AT-ATs and stuff like that. It's it
I love the
totally
story in
counts.
Outlaws.
It's
But
part
the
of
thing is,
canon.
here's the crazy. I didn't run out and go and get that. You know, I haven't got it. I haven't played it. I haven't seen anyone playing it. It seems to be a lot of people are excited for it to come out, and I'm hearing it's getting some great reviews, but it's not something I'm seeing people talking about a
Well,
lot. We're still talking about Battlefront.
Yeah, Battlefront was great. And I mean that the Battlefront games will always hold a special place in my heart. But even the new games that are coming out are awesome. They're so much fun, man. And it's just, it's more of that dude,
I'm forgetting the
Outlaws
name of-
has so much love put into that game. Just in the environments and the worlds and everything. It feels like you're in Star Wars.
What's the game with the Jedi in hiding? It's got the droid.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Survivor, Fallen
Yeah.
Order. Yeah.
That
Awesome.
one, that was great. I had so much fun playing.
I loved it. Yeah, absolutely loved it. Friggin' hate the Rancors, but I love that. I did want to add to that. One of the things that I also enjoyed of the Disney era was great directors. Every time Sir Bryce Dallas Howard got behind the camera, I friggin' loved her episodes. Amazing. I just loved it so much. But I mean, even when we first started
Dude, all
seeing
of them.
oh yeah, but like Mandalorian, when we first started getting introduced by all these different directors, just taking a crack at this, it was just they still were stuck to this is the storyline, build it how you want it, make sure you stay within this frame though, and it was wonderful. All these
I'm doing
different
a
takes of
rewatch
it.
of Mando right now, and it's so much fun watching
Yeah.
the lineup of directors come up at the end of each, Deb Chow, Rick Fumia.
I can never say his surname, Jamie. How do you say it?
Rick Fumia?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm saying it
I can
correctly.
never.
Hopefully, I'm not butchering it. But all those guys, and you have, Dave Filoni taking a crack at it too.
Yeah.
Bryce Dallas Howard episodes are great. They're all awesome.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love seeing that kind of a group of people come together and make that stuff. It's amazing.
We are running out of time here, folks. So any last words from you guys about the fight between Disney versus Lucas?
Dude, there's no fight. I'm having a blast as a Star Wars fan
You're
right
such
now.
a shit stirrer, Rob.
Yeah.
You deserve to be on you deserve to be on YouTube.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
The only thing I was going to say, I was going to mention in the years after the takeover, after it was sold, I was going to compare it to Celebration for those that have been. How we went from the period of almost like 3 years, I think it was, in between, if not more, for celebrations.
Yeah.
And it built up an anticipation for the next celebration. And then you only had a celebration when there was something that was going to be news. And it was such an exciting. And all of a sudden we went to this year. That it was year after year after year, and there was not really much to celebrate, but you kind of still had a good time. And we talked about the anticipation and the build up, and it's not such a bad thing. That's one of the examples I was going to give as well of how things changed a little bit. Is Celebration became a let's do it every year and make a lot of money, but did they have to put something out to coincide with that? But we've now got this break coming out of a couple of years, and I'm hoping that after this year we also take a break for 2 years, because after 2025 in Japan, if they do one in 2026, okay, well, maybe we have to, if there's something else new coming out. But I'd love to delay it for 2 years and do a build up and anticipation of 50 damn years of 1977 Star Wars dropping, right?
God.
A New Hope. And
Yeah.
that's the one I'd want to take a year to save up for, to make sure I don't miss and I get to. Because,
Dude, that's like one of
years.
my favorite moments as a person and as a Star Wars fan was.
Do you think you'll travel?
Depends.
For
like
50-year celebration of A New Hope?
I would love to go to A New Hope is my favorite movie by far. And like being in the room for the 40th anniversary at Celebration in Orlando was
you're never gonna
life
beat that,
moment. No.
But you can certainly have a comparable event. So I just wondered if is anyone here? We talked about is anyone here contemplating traveling and going to the 50-year anniversary of A New Hope?
Not
do it.
really, but not against it either. Not much of a traveler.
Celebration is just fun though, right? Like you don't even need to have like something new coming out. Like it's just you get to go and meet a bunch of
milestone guys.
Star Wars fans.
But if I can celebrate that milestone, I don't have to be surrounded by 1,000 people to do that. I can celebrate.
It'd be more than 1,000, Rob.
I know, and that's making me less eager to go there.
But here's the thing:
for that excitement, though.
When you go to Fan Expo,
yeah,
you know how excited you get to be at Fan Expo because you're around your friends and you're enjoying the atmosphere, and it's like that.
But I'm working. I'm behind. You could
volunteer. You could volunteer and say I'm working for the 501st. You could do that.
Yeah, that's probably what I prefer to do. I prefer to cons when I'm working the con rather than going there and just waiting in line.
I love having everyone from around the world come into this place and having these conversations, right?
Hell yeah.
And talking to everything we talked about tonight. And I can't think of a better time than a 50th anniversary.
You're more of a people person. You love talking to people because you're so good at it. You have a great personality to connect with other people.
It's not even that. It's like I can't believe it's 50 years, man.
Yeah.
When the 40th celebration happened, Jamie, like Jamie said, the 40th happened and it was amazing and so much shit went down. But we got to remember that 50 years after making this movie, everyone's moved on. We've lost a lot of the people that we held dear to our hearts, even though they weren't our family, real family.
Mm-hmm.
This 50th celebration is going to be one of the last times you can get out and really absorb that original with some of the people that are still around that were responsible for it. And I'm not even just the actors, the people behind the scenes, the people who made the props, the people that did all those people are at these events, and you get to see them in the other halls, not the $500, you get to meet and chat with these people.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm not trying to sell it, but I'm excited to think of, that's a long way off. Who the hell knows what the world's going to be like?
Yeah, exactly.
I got to have a conversation with Doug Chang because of Celebration. He was just standing there waiting for his friend.
Yeah.
Were you
like, holy shit, like how are you not getting mobbed right now? You're just standing there in the middle of Star Wars Celebration.
Walking up to the bar and sitting next to the voice of Salacious Crumb. You know,
That's awesome, right? That's so
it doesn't
cool.
happen.
funny.
It's just nuts. Yeah, I'm excited. Unless you can
Yeah.
tell, I'm not sure.
We got to wrap it up. Last word goes to the Hey Weirdos crew. Congrats on 10 years. That's like 100 years in internet years. Here's to more great content, hilarious tangents, and just enough tech glitches to keep it real. I love it.
Oh,
So,
can we talk about that real quick? I know we've gone over time, right? But holy moly.
Yeah, it's
Back in
fun.
the day, we talked about 10 years. Back in the day and the tech glitches, that's what made it the thing it used to be, man.
Oh God, I don't want to talk about the episodes that were lost. Oh God.
How about the phone always ringing at Neil's house?
Yep.
That's
So
Yeah, the
good.
phone ringing or Rob looking at the recording device being like, that's not counting upwards right
Is it
now.
recording?
Yeah.
Is it
Is it recording? I remember the first question we used to get when we walked into the family basement there and set up. Rob be like, "Has anyone got one of these cables?"
Right. I forgot a cable.
And I
or left
remember
it.
because
Yeah.
it was all new to me, right? Because like you said, Rob, you met
Yeah.
everyone at and then we went and did that photo shoot. I remember that, and you were talking, and it all
Yeah.
went from there 10 years ago. But
Dude, I started carrying that cable, just spare cables.
that's what I was about to
because of
say.
Rob.
We all started carrying the cable because we knew he would forget one.
I literally
Yeah.
have the bag.
Or like
Oh,
extra
the
batteries.
dust came off that sucker.
Yeah. Yeah, everything.
Oh
SD
my God.
cards.
Paul, did you go to the bathroom, sit down for a bit, and think of this one? That one's good. That one's got some
C3
right
telling
Right.
James
skills.
Cameron to hold my beer as he does a live action version of The Abyss while quaffing fluid from his personal ocean buoy.
Dude,
Buoy.
this is amazing.
Oh
I
my
love
God.
it. I love it.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for first of all, thank you guys. I really appreciate you, continuing with this ride of the podcast. It's for those people out there. It's not easy getting 4 people all together every 2 weeks because we have lives and trying to organize that and schedule and everything. And but we really enjoy doing this. We really enjoy talking about not just Star Wars but movies. It's brought a lot of joy to my life, and it has brought like trooping because all 4 of us troop, and it's brought a lot of joy to my life, and I really appreciate doing with 3 other people who are friggin' fantastic. I enjoy doing it with when Anil was here. I love the hell out of that guy and enjoy doing it with him and Josh and Bulent. So I'm very thankful for having done this for 10 years and 450 episodes. So thank you guys. Cheers.
Thanks for letting us stick around.
So
And
Well,
on that note as well, it's going to be my 10th year with the 501st this year.
wow, 10 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You're still one after me, though.
What does that mean?
Well, you're number 3.
Here's
Oh
two,
yeah,
three.
that's true. Yeah, but that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I just passed my 10-year last year.
Yeah,
Oh, rookies.
Yeah.
I just passed my
Did you get a badge?
No.
No. Did you get a coin?
No.
Oh,
I want to say it's as a new guy, it's great to be part of this. I've been listening to this podcast forever. But I want to say thanks to Rob because knowing all the stuff that he does behind the scenes to edit,
Yep.
put this together and organize and make lists and be the keener who researches everything. I don't think this podcast would be around if it wasn't for your efforts. So thank you. Rob.
I am always going to be in my head a guest on Rob's show. That's the way. That's the way it always. That's the way it always feels to me, man. This is Rob. Rob, this is your show.
I feel I'm the co-star in your life.
No, this is your show, and that's the way it's always going to feel to me. I always feel like I'm a guest.
Yeah,
just
Rob's
happy to be
the
Norm
brains
walking
and the
into the
muscle.
bar.
Yeah, Rob puts it all together.
Yep.
And
Thank
I want-
God you finally went live, though, man. I felt like I was banging my head against a brick wall. So good. Cheers to you. 10 years. We're finally live.
I also want to say for Star Wars, one other great thing that came out of it is I've met all you guys
Yeah.
through Star
Yep.
Wars. I've met people around the world
Yeah.
through Star Wars.
Yeah.
If I hadn't
100%.
joined the 501st and nerded out with people at work talking about Star Wars, I wouldn't have met you guys.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yep. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not every Star Wars fan is an instant friend. You just develop these families and these bonds because of your like-mindedness. And I think that's what everyone needs to wake up to. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean someone else isn't going to like it. We're not all the same.
Mhm.
With that, let's start with Jamie. Where can we find you?
You can find me on YouTube on the ongoing YouTube series Ready to Believe on the Generation Next Week podcast YouTube channel.
We gotta get some stuff going again.
We do, yeah. We had a lull over the break. Everybody's busy. The holidays always just throw a monkey wrench into everything. We have a lot of things to talk about.
I know
which
Tony
I'm
and Trip have
excited.
both been asking for more Ready to Believe.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm ready, but yeah,
Get on with it, Jamie. Jesus,
dude, I have been getting on with it, but yeah, it's just nothing has been put to video yet.
busy time.
Yeah.
I tell you what, as another wake up call, Rob. I know we were talking about doing other costume stuff as well, man. Wake up call for me is let's try and do that before I don't own anything anymore. So yeah, I'd love to recognize what I've got and get it out of the boxes, man. So anytime you're ready to do that, we'll do that.
We'll talk. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah. Where can we find you, Steve 3?
Honestly, I'm not gonna end it on a high, but honestly, right now you can follow me on Instagram under Shitsback or Muppet Fart. You can follow me on Instagram under Steve 3D. But I don't know, man. I'm gonna be off that for a little bit. But check it out. You know, there could be some stuff on there. I'll try not to bring it down, but for now, those still exist, and that's where I'm gonna put all my fun stuff when it starts happening again.
Oh yeah.
Hose Nose.
You can find me on the gram, as the kids say. Hose Nose Paints for all your mediocre D&D figures.
I love the hard
painting
sell.
eyes are tricky. Yeah, so I don't know. That's pretty much it. And like number 2, I think I might be taking a pause from the social medias for a while. So
drawing fingers are hard.
Can you just post pictures of the eyeballs that went wrong? I want to see.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
Cross-eyed.
Yeah.
So, I could do some B-roll.
I want to see that. I want to see the ones that took the LSD with the massive pupils, the ones with one eye up here.
Yeah, they're like chameleons.
Yeah.
Before I tell you where you can find me, I did want to mention next week we are going to be talking to Jamie's hosting next week. We're doing GXW versus John Williams 2 without the recorder. But so you're hosting John Williams trivia next
remastered.
episode. Remastered. Oh my God. I think I just found the title. I found the title for next week's episode and the image for this week's episode. Ben Stiller sitting on a couch. It's going to be awesome.
Is it John Williams 2, the Electric Boogaloo?
But also after that, we have the one and only Marty Matulis, as long as scheduling works. Marty Matulis, Vane the Pirate from Skeleton Crew and Mandalorian, is going to be joining us again, this time on our show. And if we're going to do it right, we're going to be talking about Indiana Jones. He requested that we talk about Indiana Jones, so we're going to talk about Indiana Jones. Maybe a little bit of Skeleton Crew as well. I do want to pick his ear a couple of things, but Marty Matulis is going to be on our show in 2 weeks, and that's going to be live. So super excited. Again, that is up. Marty is like Polly would know, very busy person. So hopefully we can manage to align the planets.
Yeah, when are we gonna get Paulie back on the show?
When are we gonna get Paulie back on the show? I think we know a guy. We'll chat.
He's a neighbor of yours now.
Is he?
He's a
he lives in Coquitlam. Fantastic. Yeah. But as for me, you can find me on Outer Rim Rookie, the Outer Rim Rookie Show YouTube channel, YouTube show on our Generation X-Wing podcast YouTube channel. A new episode came out just a couple weeks ago on the AT-AT build, and Fan Expo is coming. We're going to be doing some videos on that. So if you're at Fan Expo in February, come say hello to both Steve Hosenose and Jamie. All 3 of us will be there, as well as the Outer Rim Garrison, Rebel Legion. It's going to be tons of fun. So come down, say hi. I know the weirdos are going to be there. Ghostbusters of BC are going to be there. Weirdos are going to be there. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And I don't think Steve 3's Jug is going to be there, though, sadly. Sorry.
It's on.
So
thanks
a lot,
guys.
Do we end this with big jugs?
Your milkshakes brings all the boys to the yard. All right. So thanks a lot, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Cheers.
Bye. Cheers.
Bye.
All right. For those people who are live, we got to do a little bit of an intro. So give me a second here. It is episode 450 of the Generation X-Wing podcast, celebrating 10 years, and we're going back to our roots. We're talking Star Wars, Lucas versus Disney. Stay tuned. How's that for clickbait?
Got it in a winner. Yeah.
Lucas versus Disney. Which one sucks?
George Lucas
Don't
ruined
do
my
that.
childhood.
It's episode 450 Generation X-Wing podcast. George Lucas ruined my life. Stay tuned.
Where do we go now?
Where do we go from here? Steve Jugs makes him look so small.
I am small. I'm an old man.
All right, Steve, I'm assuming you've been peeing under the table while you've been at it. So.
You know what the crazy?
Yeah, let's see
you
the
know what
size of your
crazy,
piss jug.
The crazy thing is that what you call it, Jay? Is that what you call it?
Hey, I'll leave that up. You show whatever you want.
Let me just whip out my
Oh.
piss jug.
Yeah,
drinking
or you're
apple juice?
banned from YouTube.
But no, I haven't. That's how dehydrated I am, man. I'm not even
All right.
jiggling. I'm not even doing the jiggle.
Oh, that's just disappointing now.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna end her here. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, VJ Baby, and thank you, Paulie, for popping by.
Thanks for
We'd love to
roasting,
chat.
Steve.
Let's get him
And
on.
Weirdos, thank you, Weirdos.
Yep.
Yeah, let's chat sometime in the future. It'd be wonderful to have you on the show again. And Steve will bring the drinks. So
For himself.
I'll bring the piss jugs, apparently.
Yeah, I'm gonna put labels over it, and you gotta guess which one's which by tasting.
Mm. That's not Apple. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. We're going to end the stream. So have a good night. We'll talk to you later. Bye. 3, 2.